Hello everyone. In this session I will be dealing with three topics. First two topics are related to M-ary modulation techniques, and the third topic is related to non-coherent orthogonal modulation technique. So the topics for today's discussion are M-ary PSK, that is M-ary phase shift keying, then M-ary quadrature amplitude modulation or QAM, then non-coherent version of binary frequency shift keying. So, as we discussed in the previous sessions, our information sequence or data sequence in digital modulation technique, it may be either in the form of binary sequence or M-ary encoded data. In binary sequence, we consider individual bit. So, we have discussed three types of basic digital modulation techniques: binary PSK, binary ASK and binary FSK. And in today's session, we are going to discuss about M-ary modulation techniques, where we consider M-ary modulation scheme. So, in M-ary modulation scheme, we can send one of the m possible signals during each symbol interval. So, here m equal to 2 raised to n, where n represents total number of bits in each symbol. For example, if n equal to 2, that means if die bits are considered, then 4 number of symbols are possible: 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1. And if you consider 3 bits at a time, n equal to 3, then starting from 0 0 0 up to 1 1 1. So, 8 different symbols are possible. So, when we consider such symbols in our modulation technique, then it is called as M-ary modulation scheme. So, here in today's session we are going to discuss two such modulation techniques based on M-ary modulation, and the third type is non-coherent modulation technique. So, this M-ary scheme, it can be used to improve the bandwidth efficiency. So, we can save the bandwidth using this technique. Okay, first let us consider M-ary PSK modulation technique. This M-ary PSK is a multi-level modulation technique. This gives a high data rate transmission in a given bandwidth. And in M-ary PSK, the phase of the carrier is represented by the equation theta I equal to 2 into I minus 1 into pi by m, for I equal to 1 to m. And usually in M-ary PSK, we use 2 or more bits in a symbol. Therefore, total number of possible symbol is greater than or equal to 4. Relation between total number of symbol and total number of bit is m equal to 2 raised to n. Therefore, we can write the modulated signal as Si of t equal to root 2e by t cos 2 pi fct plus 2 pi by m into I minus 1. So, here Fc is the carrier frequency and Fc equal to Nc by t, where Nc is some fixed integer, and capital T, it represents the symbol period, and symbol period, it depends on how many number of bits are used in the individual symbol. And as you can see in the expression, it is in the form cos A plus B. What is the expansion for cos A plus B? That is cos A cos B minus sin A sin B. So, use that relation. It is basically similar to our QPSK derivation, same as that. So, Si of t equal to root 2e by t cos 2 pi fct plus 2 pi by m into I minus 1. Use cos A plus B formula, cos A plus B formula. So, we can write it as in the next step, Si of t equal to root 2e by t cos 2 pi by m into I minus 1 cos 2 pi fct minus root 2e by t sin 2 pi by m into I minus 1 into sin 2 pi fct. So, from this, can you find the orthonormal basis functions that are required for the signal representation? How many orthonormal basis functions are required? Just look at the equation there. we need only two basis functions, only two are sufficient. So, root 2 by t cos 2 pi f c t is the first basis function, and the second basis function is root 2 by t sin 2 pi f c t. So, similar to our QPSK modulation, here also only two basis functions are sufficient to represent all possible modulated signals. Therefore, definitely signal constellation or our signal space diagram is a two dimensional. It requires only two basis functions. Okay, each modulated signal Si of t may be expanded in terms of the same two basis function phi 1 of t and phi 2 of t. So, from the modulated signal equation, we have defined basis functions. Using those two basis function, we can express all the modulated signal as a linear combination of basis functions. The signal constellation of M-ary PSK is two dimensional, and the M message points are equally spaced on a circle of radius root e and center at the origin. Now, to construct the signal space diagram or to draw the constellation diagram, we need to represent all possible message points. For that, define the message point Sij as Sij equal to column vector Si1 Si2, where I equal to 1 to m. So, we can write Sij equal to column vector root e cos 2 pi by m into I minus 1 minus root e sin 2 pi by m I minus 1. So, this is the message point equation in terms of column vector. Now, using this message point equation, we can find all possible m number of message points. For example, consider octave phase shift keying, that means 8 different phase values are used, or it is a 8-ary PSK. So, m equal to 8 in this case. So, next you find all possible message point for a given message sequence of 0 0 0 0 0 1 up to 1 1 1. So, make a tabular column and find all the message points, and then mark those message points in a two dimensional Euclidean space. Joining all the points, you will get a circle. So, I am giving this as a homework. Interested students can contact me. I will explain it. So, these steps are not so important from the exam point of view, but still if you are interested, I will help you to find the signal space diagram. The average probability of symbol error for coherent M-ary PSK is probability of error equal to approximately equal to 2 into q function of root 2 e by n naught sin pi by m. So, this is the expression for M-ary PSK probability of symbol error. You need to remember the equation. Okay, this shows the signal space diagram for octave phase shift keying or 8-ary PSK. Suppose our information symbol is 0 0 0. So, for this if you find a message point, you will get value as root e comma 0. So, it lies on the phi 1 axis. Mark that point, it represents message point m1. For 0 0 1, you will get message point value as root e by 2 minus root e by 2. So, it is a message point m8, it is marked here, and then for 0 1 1, you will get 0 comma minus root e. So, it is also shown as message point m7 here. So, it is marked as minus root e, basically it is 0 comma minus root e point. So, like this you can mark all the message points for a given symbol set, and by joining all the points you will get a circle. Therefore, here signal space diagram is a circle for 8-ary PSK. Next topic is M-ary quadrature amplitude modulation. the quadrature amplitude modulation or QAM is a hybrid form of modulation, in that the carrier experiences amplitude as well as phase modulation. As we have seen in the previous M-ary PSK, there we have a circular constellation. That means signal envelope is constant for different modulated symbols. Only phase values are changed. Its envelope is constant. So, for a given gray encoded message symbols, we have circular constellation diagram there. But in QAM, the carrier undergoes both amplitude as well as phase modulation. Therefore, this QAM is a hybrid form of modulation. Carrier experiences amplitude as well as phase modulation. Two parameters are changed here, amplitude and phase. And again here, two orthogonal passband basis functions are required for the constellation diagram and representation of signals. They are phi 1 of t equal to root 2 by t cos 2 pi f c t and phi 2 of t equal to root 2 by t sin 2 pi f c t. Okay, next let us see how to represent modulated signal in M-ary QAM. The transmitted M-ary QAM signal for symbol k can be written as sk of t equal to root 2 e naught by t ak into cos 2 pi f c t minus root t e naught by t pk into sin 2 pi f c t. So, as you can see in the equation, here the signal sk of t, it involves two phase quadrature carriers, because cos function and sin function, they differ in phase by 90 degree. So, phase quadrature. So, the signal sk of t involves two phase quadrature carriers, and each one of which is modulated by a set of discrete amplitudes. So, here because of the parameter ak and bk, there is a amplitude modulation also. So, root e naught into ak and root e naught into bk, this changes the amplitude. Because of cos and sin function, there is a phase variation. Therefore, this M-ary modulation, it is a quadrature amplitude modulation. Quadrature refers to the phase shift, 90 degree phase shift, and amplitude modulation, amplitude variation. Therefore, it is a quadrature amplitude modulation. So, here E naught is the energy of the message signal with the lowest amplitude. So, energy of the lowest amplitude message signal, it is E naught. So, since both amplitude and phase are changed here, it is called as quadrature amplitude modulation. Next, here we will see how to write this QAM square constellation. With an even number of bits per symbol, we can write the relationship between L and M as L equal to root M. M is the total number of symbols and L is positive integer. So, next M-ary QAM square wave M-ary QAM square constellation can be viewed as the Cartesian product of a one dimensional L-ary PAM constellation with itself. So, to construct this M-ary QAM square wave constellation, first we need to consider L-ary PAM constellation, pulse amplitude modulated signal constellation. Then take Cartesian product of that constellation with itself. It gives the required M-ary QAM square constellation. So, by definition, this Cartesian product, it refers to writing the set of all ordered pairs of coordinates with first coordinate is taken from the first set and second coordinate from the second set. So, to understand this concept of Cartesian product, let me consider an example. So, this is the first set, 1 1 1 0 is the first set. So, this is a column vector, and then here we have a row vector 1 0 1 1. Consider this as a second set. So, first set and second set. Dimension of the first set is 2 cross 1, dimension of the second is 1 cross 2. Therefore, after multiplication, we should get a square matrix of dimension 2 cross 2. Okay. Next, find the Cartesian product. For that, first coordinate is taken from the first set and second coordinate from the second set, write that pair. So, here 1 1 this coordinate and then this 1 0, write it together. So, it is a pair. So, 1 1 1 0, this is the first product value, then 1 1, it is multiplied with this 1 1. So, second pair is 1 1 1 1. Next here consider this particular coordinate 1 0 multiplied with this 1 0. So, 1 0 1 0, next 1 0 1 1, last coordinate value. Therefore, in this multiplication we should write all possible ordered pairs with first coordinate is taken from the first set and second coordinate from the second set. So, multiplication of this 1 1 1 0 with 1 0 1 1 gives 1 1 1 0, 1 1 1 1, 1 0 1 0 and 1 0 1 1. This is how we need to find the Cartesian product. The ordered pairs of coordinates form a square matrix. So, the Cartesian product of one dimensional M-ary PM constellation with itself gives a square matrix. So, it is represented as shown in the matrix. Next, we will see how to find M-ary QAM constellation diagram using 4-ary PAM constellation. So, here two orthogonal constellations of the 4-ary PAM are given. First figure A represents vertically oriented constellation and second figure gives horizontally oriented constellation. The same binary sequence is used for both the constellations 0 1 0 0 1 0 and 1 1, and also gray codes are used here. So, from one code word to another code word there is only one bit change. For example, 0 1 to 0 0, 1 bit change, 0 0 to 1 0, again 1 bit change. So, next 1 0 to 1 1, again 1 bit change. Therefore, adjacent bits are differing by only 1 bit. So, next if you represent these two constellation in terms of matrix or vector, figure 8 gives a column vector of dimension 4 cross 1. Figure B, it gives vector of dimension 1 cross 4. So, if you take Cartesian product, it gives you a matrix of dimension 4 cross 4 or 16 points we will get. Therefore, it is a 16-ary QAM using 4-ary PAM, right. Next, to construct that 16-ary QAM constellation, we need to use 4 steps, because when we multiply these two, when we take Cartesian product, we will get first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant points. So, these points are calculated in 4 stages. Please listen carefully, very important step. In stage 1, first quadrant constellation is calculated. For this, you need to consider 1 1 and 1 0 of figure A and 1 0 and 1 1 of figure B. In the second stage, second quadrant constellation is calculated. For this, you need to consider 1 1 and 1 0 of the first figure and 0 1 0 0 of figure B. And in the third quadrant constellation, in stage 3, you need to use 0 0 and 0 1 of figure A and 0 1 0 0 of the figure B. Please listen carefully. And in the stage 4, find fourth quadrant constellation. Here you need to consider 0 0 and 0 1 of the first figure and 1 0 and 1 1 of the second figure, figure B. So, find Cartesian product in these 4 stages and then use all those 16 points and represent it in a 2-dimensional Euclidean space. Thus, you can represent it in terms of 16-ary QAM constellation diagram. Okay, next, with 4 quadrants constituting the 4-ary QAM, we proceed in 4 stages as follows. Please follow the steps. Stage 1, first quadrant constellation. Consider 1 1 1 0 of the figure A, 1 0 1 1 of the figure B. So, first consider this point 1 1 coordinate value, then 1 0. So, Cartesian product will be 1 1 1 0. So, it is a ordered pair. Then 1 1 1 1, this pair 1 0 1 0, third 1 0 1 1. So, here 2 cross 1, 1 cross 2. So, resultant matrix is 2 cross 2, right. Similarly, find the second quadrant constellation 1110 of the figure A, 0100 of figure B, multiply it 1101, this pair, then 1100, 1001, then 1000. So again we will get 4 cross 4 2 cross 2 matrix. Next, in the stage 3, consider 0001 of figure A and 0100 of figure B. Again find the Cartesian product 0001, then 0000, 0101 and 0100. Next, fourth quadrant constellation 0001 of figure A and 1011 of figure B. Cartesian product will be 0010, 0011, 0110 and 0111. So using these 4 stages, find 4 quadrant points. Okay. Next, using previously calculated values, we can construct signal space diagram of M-ary QAM for m equal to 16. So phi 1 and phi 2, so it is 2 dimensional, represent the previously estimated first quadrant values in the first quadrant of phi 1, phi 2, and then second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant. So represent all the message points. You will get a square constellation. Also in each quadrant you can see that code words are differing by only 1 bit, therefore gray encoded. So here 1110, 1010, second bit is changed, here fourth bit is changed, here last fourth bit is changed, therefore here it is gray encoded. So you move from one quadrant to another quadrant, for example from first to second, here also only third bit is changed, here only third bit is changed. So again there is only 1 bit change. So gray encoding rule is used within each quadrant. Also, as we move from one quadrant to the next quadrant, there is only 1 bit position change. Therefore all the bits are all the code words are encoded using gray encoded quad bits. So this is the square constellation of quadrature amplitude modulation, which is modulated with respect to both phase and amplitude. So different amplitudes are shown here. See here, it is d by 2, 3d by 2, minus d by 2, minus 3d by 2. So amplitude is changed. Also points are located in different quadrants, so phase is also changed. Therefore it is hybrid modulation where both amplitude and phase are changed. Okay. Next topic is non-coherent binary FSK. In all previous discussion, we have assumed that the receiver is perfectly synchronized to the transmitter. That means there is a phase synchronization between transmitter and receiver carrier, and also we have assumed that channel is AWGN, additive white Gaussian noise is considered. Therefore we have considered coherent modulation technique in all our previous discussions. But in real time system there might exist other parameters which affects the signal. For example, suppose you have transmitted a modulated signal and carrier phase is affected by the channel parameter, and carrier phase is changed by an unknown amount. Then it is difficult to achieve phase synchronization between receiver carrier and the transmitted carrier. Then we cannot use coherent technique. It is difficult to achieve synchronization. In such situation we can use receiver which can demodulate the signal using non-coherent technique. So here we can use the combination of matched filter and envelope detector. Please understand the difference. In previous module also we have considered one matched filter, but there it was actually it was coherent receiver. So there we have used matched filter and maximum likelihood detector, therefore it is coherent receiver. But here we are considering matched filter and envelope detector, therefore it is a non-coherent detection technique. So here in today's session we are considering only non-coherent binary FSK. One more non-coherent modulation method is included in the syllabus. We will discuss it in the next session. It is called as differential phase shift keying or DPSK. We will discuss it in the next session. So, in binary FSK, already we have discussed about this. In binary FSK, the transmitted signal is defined by Si of t equal to root 2 EB by TB cos 2 pi f phi t in the interval 0 to TB, and it is 0 elsewhere. So, this is the equation for modulated signal in case of binary FSK. Here EB represents bit energy, TB is the bit duration, and Fi is a carrier frequency. So, Fi equal to Ni by Tb, where Ni is integer, and the transmission of frequency F1 represents symbol 1 and the transmission of frequency F2 represents symbol 0. So, here F1 and F2 are selected such that the signals are orthogonal, that means two signals S1 of t and S2 of t are orthogonal. Therefore, this non-coherent binary FSK is also called as non-coherent orthogonal modulation, because orthogonal carriers are used. So, this represents non-coherent receiver for detection of binary FSK. As you can see here, there are three important blocks in the receiver section: matched filter, envelope detector, and comparison device. For the non-coherent detection, the receiver consists of a pair of matched filter followed by envelope detectors. So, here the received signal, it is first applied to two matched filters. The filter in the upper path of the receiver is matched to cos 2 pi f1 t, and filter in the lower path is matched to cos 2 pi f2 t, and here signal interval is 0 to Tb. The resulting envelope of this output of filter 1 and filter 2, it is applied to the envelope detector, and envelope detector output, it is sampled at t equal to Tb, where Tb is a bit duration. Therefore, sample time is Tb here. So, sampled values in the upper path and lower path are represented as L1 and L2. So, the receiver decides in favor of symbol 1 if L1 is greater than L2. So, here comparison device is used, it compares L1 value and L2 value. So, if L1 is greater than L2, then output will be decided as 1, bit 1, and if L1 is less than L2, then output will be decided as bit 0. So, this is how demodulation operation is carried out in the non-coherent receiver. So, it contains matched filter, envelope detector, and comparison device. So, these are the major blocks in the receiver section. Same thing is explained over here. The filter in the upper path is matched to root 2 by Tb cos 2 pi f1 t, and the filter in the lower path is matched to root 2 by Tb cos 2 pi ft, cos 2 pi f2 t. The resulting envelope detector outputs are sampled at t equal to Tb, and their values are compared. Then again, based on the value decision is made, L1 greater than L2, output is 1, and L1 less than L2, output is 0. So, if L1 is greater than L2, the receiver decides in favor of symbol 1, and if it is less than L2, it decides in favor of symbol 0. Next, the average probability of error for non-coherent binary FSK is given by the equation probability of error equal to 1 by 2 exponential minus EB by 2 n naught. So, this is the expression for probability of error in case of non-coherent binary FSK. You need to remember this equation. Basically, in non-coherent binary FSK, probability of error is more. So, always non-coherent receiver, it gives lower performance compared to the coherent detection method. So, coherent detection, it gives better performance, but complexity is more there, because carrier synchronization is required in coherent version. But here non-coherent version is simple, but error performance is less compared to the coherent version. Next, let us solve one problem based on the previous equation. An FSK system transmits binary data at the rate of 2 into 10 raised to 6 Bps. So, it is 2 Mbps here, Rb equal to 2 Mbps or Tb equal to 1 by 2 Mbps, which is equal to 0.5 microsecond. During the source of transmission, additive white Gaussian noise of 0 mean and two-sided power spectral density of n naught by 2 equal to 10 raised to minus 20 watts per hertz is added to the signal. So, n naught is 2 into 10 raised to minus 20 watt per hertz. The amplitude of the received sinusoidal wave for digit 1 or 0 is 1 microvolt. So, carrier amplitude. So, basically this represents the maximum amplitude because it is sinusoidal wave. We write that sinusoidal signal as a cos 2 pi f1 t or f2 t. Therefore, that amplitude, right, is the maximum amplitude. So, maximum amplitude is 1 microvolt. When we find the power, average power or RMS power, then we need to convert it into RMS amplitude. So, determine the average probability of symbol error assuming non-coherent detection. Also read the question carefully. Here it is asked for non-coherent detection. So, this question was asked in June-July 2019. Okay, solution is given here. Probability of error for non-coherent BFSK is a exponential function. So, PE equal to half exponential minus EB by 2 n naught. RMS power equal to, so here unit resistance is considered, R equal to 1 is considered. So, general equation is power equal to voltage square by R, V square by R, but R is 1. So, next represent amplitude in terms of RMS value, maximum value by root 2. So, A by root 2 square or A square by 2, substitute the value of A, we will get RMS power as 0.5 into 10 raised to minus 12 watts. Then find bit energy, EB equal to P into TB, power into bit duration. So, you will get the value as 0.25 into 10 raised to minus 18 joules. Next, substitute in the probability of error equation and you will get the final answer as probability of error equal to 0.965 into 10 raised to minus 3. So, this is the probability of error value for a non-coherent BFSK detection for a given data. So, in today's session we have discussed about M-ary PSK, M-ary quadrature amplitude modulation, right. We have considered modulated signal, constellation diagrams, probability of error equation, and finally we have considered one non-coherent modulation technique, which is non-coherent binary frequency shift keying. The remaining topic, differential phase shift keying, will be discussed in the next session. Thank you.